Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, Freebird Spirit YouTube. And today is a special event day. You guys can all tell I'm here on my I'm here on my day off, but it was the best day that we could do this, right? And I'm happy to be here. And Tom, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me on your off day.
I know everybody always they're like, "Oh, it was your day off." Don't worry, you guys. It's no big deal. Um, it's all good. Now, as everybody pops on, we'll just take a moment here as everybody pops on and gets the alert that we are live now. I do want to share a little bit about Tom. I know that most of you know Tom from my channel or Linda's channel. And maybe elsewhere, maybe you've read his books all these years, but I want to introduce him more in depth so you all, oh goodness, Melissa, thank you. I forgot that was going on this morning. She's watching the Tennessee expulsion vote right now. Okay. Oh, you have a delivery.
Yes. Let me close the door. I forgot to do that.
Oh, yeah, no problem. No problem. All right. Rose Blue says Tennessee is about to have the vote right now.
Yes.
All right. So let's send out the most benevolent outcome to that vote.
Ask any and all beings to aid and assist in the vote in Tennessee to eventually have results better than we can hope for or expect.
Yes. Better than we can hope for or expect. Awesome.
So, perfect. Yeah, that's
that's better outcome than what I could create in my own boxed self.
Yep.
Yes. All right, everybody's sending those prayers up. We are linking in with that. Yes. All right. So back to the show here. Introducing Tom. Tom T. Moore is an award-winning author, speaker, and is in the entertainment business where over 40 years he has been president and CEO of his own international motion picture and TV program distribution business based in, it's Plano, Texas?
Plano, Texas.
Plano.
That's the Spanish word, I believe, for plains.
Oh, okay. Plano, Texas. I used to live in El Cajon, California. And El Cajon means, I think, oh, I forgot now. Yeah. I was getting all into it now and I forgot. Someone will let me know what El Cajon means.
Yeah.
It means,
is it type in the chat room.
Maybe it's box. Can you see the chat, Tom?
No, I can't.
Okay, so up into your right-hand corner, it says comments. Go ahead and click on comments.
Oh, okay.
There
That's
you go.
why I can't see
that way you can engage.
Everybody's there.
There you go. Okay. So, so based in Plano, Texas, during this time, he has traveled extensively as part of his business duties to international film markets held in Cannes, Milan, Los Angeles, and Budapest. Wow, such amazing spots to get to go to. Okay, so he's an author of 6 books, and I'm going to show you a few of those, but I'm going to read through this list first. So, and most of you know these, but maybe not all of them. So you have The Gentle Way, his first book, correct? A self-help guide for those who believe in angels. Then you have The Gentle Way 2, The Story Continues. And then you have The Gentle Way 3.
Master.
Master
Your Life.
Master Your Life. Sorry, my screen went a little wonky.
Okay.
Okay, back here. There we go. So so here's The Gentle Way 3, Master Your Life, self-help guide for those who believe in angels. And then you have the Gentle Way with Pets.
There we are.
There it is.
Aren't those cute?
Oh my gosh, I love that, and I have the books right here. I love that one. All of them are good, but I love the pictures on this. Angelic help for your animal companions, and then you have first contact conversations with an ET, and then you have Atlantis and Lemuria, the lost continents revealed.
There it is.
So if you want to visit his website, it's thegentlewaybook.com. And I will put that up here. I feel like I have it in the banners.
And I have a free newsletter, everyone, and you can sign up for it on the first page, the opening page. And all my newsletters are archived on the website since 2007. So you can read them and see where I hit, where I missed. Everybody misses at times.
And here's the website if anybody is interested in checking that out. And sign up for the. I think you've had lots of people from the community sign up, haven't you?
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah. And I'll post this again later, but there's the website to visit.
Lots of people have mentioned you, Debbie.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh, how fun. Thanks, guys. All right. So the Gentle Way books provide a simple yet powerful tool for everyday use. It's a giant step from the law of attraction and includes hundreds of stories sent to Mr. Moore from all over the world, from people living the gentle way. So you guys, the stories are incredible. And I feel, Tom, that through those stories, it really gives you it helps you kind of believe. You're like, oh, and so then that helps you in making shifts in your own life, because it's like,
and I also find that these stories from people all over the world, it just shows how much alike we are in our lives and not different. And that's
connection. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
If you when you go to my website, if you'll look at the latest newsletter archived in the articles and news section, it has some stories sent to me by a French lady living in China.
Wow.
So, and she talks not only about a little bit about her life in China, but also about her mother living, I think, in France and so on. So it's, you get little eye views or whatever you want to call it of people's lives in other places.
And it makes the planet a little smaller, doesn't it?
Yep, I think so.
I love it. Okay, so so Tom was voted best self-help author for 3 straight years by readers of the Health magazine. He has utilized the Gentle Way in both his professional and personal life. And Tom is one of those rare people who is a telepath and has allowed him in a meditative state to provide detailed information about extraterrestrials, our galactic family, Earth's history, and lost continents of Atlantis and Lemuria in his book, and speaking engagements. So
and also Lemuria was also named Mu. That was the sort of the name of the continent back then. But in today's world, everybody has heard Lemuria, and it's actually broken down Lemurian.
Oh, Lemuria. Do you think it had like a little accent on it?
Well, yeah,
The-
it's funny that LE is what the French use for
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
the
Ooh.
mu continent.
Oh. So before becoming an international film distributor, Mr. Moore owned and operated with his wife an international wholesale tour company, selling tours through 3,000 uh, three for, three
3,000 travel agents. Yeah.
travel agents. Wow, nationwide. Now this was here, or because it's inter. Oh, did you do international travel as well, or just the nation?
No, international. We were the second largest tour operator to the Cayman Islands in the United States
Wow,
back at that time.
that's a lot of work, but also how wonderful. Again, linking the other side of the globe to here to
Yeah.
us, right? Uh, Tom, I
And
feel like
we
there's a
did,
little.
yeah,
There's a
we did
little.
tours to Europe
Wow.
and thousands of people to Las Vegas every year. Oh gosh.
Oh, I mean, I feel like there's a little theme here with you, Tom, linking people together.
Yeah.
Um, Tom graduated with a BBA in finance from Texas Christian University in Fort Worth, Texas, and served in the U.S. Army as first lieutenant. He is a native to Dallas, Texas, is married, and has 2 children and 1 grandchild. Yay. Grandbabies are the best, but probably not quite a baby still. How old is your grandchild?
She just turned 7.
7.
And her
Oh,
parents, my daughter and son-in-law, took her to Disney World for her birthday.
very fun. Disney World in Florida.
Yes.
And it's still operating okay, and everybody's
Yeah. And what's interesting is that when they went, she was going to miss like a week of school, and because of all the ice and snowstorms and everything, it was only one day of school.
Oh, they had already they closed it anyway. So that
Perfect timing.
most benevolent outcome for them.
Yes.
Excellent. So you guys, today we want to talk about timelines, uh, guns and guns and
Guns for groceries.
guns for groceries, and
Different.
of course,
It's tied in.
yep, and of course, the most benevolent outcome questions and stuff. I know that we all have for Tom. So I'm going to pass it over to Tom. We're going to dive into. I kind of want to. I wonder if we should start with the guns, or do we want to end with that? I think that's such an
Let me kind
important
of tie
thing.
it in with how it ties in with our parallel lives or timelines.
Okay, all right. So we're going to
So,
start with the timelines then, I guess, and then we're going to.
well, yeah,
I'm so
I'll
excited
kind of
about that
go
program.
back and forth between the two a little bit. Okay.
Okay.
So basically, I had been told in the past that a couple of things, one of which was that we get our great ideas and our inventions from the upper timelines. We're on timeline 6, which is the middle frequency. Okay. And so these great inventions and ideas come from the upper timelines and they slowly work their way down to our timeline and then on below us to the other lower timelines. So we're a middle frequency. So
So there's 12 timelines then?
there are 12 timelines. The 12th timeline is a non-physical timeline. So I kind of almost don't ever count it because our souls have that timeline as what they call the perfect life. And all the other lives on these parallel earths um, are judged or compared to the perfect life. And to me, it doesn't seem exactly fair, but I mean, what do I know? Yeah, compared to the
Well, from what I understand about us in this human experience is that we come here to experience, and
yes,
and maybe it's we experience this to get the experience of this, 6 or 5 or 4,
yeah,
those more heavy experiences
yeah.
for
Our
that growth,
souls,
right?
yeah, our souls have, as part of this Earth experiment that the Creator of our universe created to see if people could live with the four negative energies, because no one else in our universe, which was created in the 10 positive energies, and all the trillions of uh, other universes were all created in the 10 positive energies. Nobody, no one, no creator had ever tried to work with these four negative energies. And so our souls volunteered for this for a number of reasons. Um, it was going to fast track our vibrational level to raise it much faster, because like our guardian angels are actually golden light beings, but they raised their vibrational level over eons and eons of time.
Right.
And so we were promised that our vibrational levels would go up much faster, among other things. And um, so our souls, in I guess with Creator, decided that for the biggest bang for the buck, they needed 12 parallel lives to see, to get an idea of all the different ways one life could be lived. And and that's what happened. We're in the sixth timelines, and we have harder lives than the upper timelines, but we have an easier lives than do the lower timelines. Those people have to be really hardy souls. I know I've been told I've already transitioned on timelines 1 and 2 from congestive heart failure. So I'm gone. Tom's out of the building on that one. So
So on that, so you've already left the building in that earlier timeline.
yes.
I do have
So
a question.
okay.
Okay, this might be above your pay grade, but let's let's see what happens.
Yeah. Who knows?
Um, Now, if we took if we took a look at Jesus' experience on the timeline, let's say 9, or yeah, 9, would there be a chance the world would have experienced him differently on timeline 9, and that would have helped with that when he came into to bring the message of stepping into the energy of pure love
Hmm.
and not hate and fear? Would it Is that part of possibility of why that timeline would play out differently than timeline 6, where
I'm sure. Now, keep in mind, when I was, and I've asked a lot of questions about Jesus, and but it was in connection with this timeline.
okay.
So maybe it's something that I need to go back and ask some questions about his influence on the upper timelines,
Yes,
which
I
I'm
would be
sure which was
fascinated.
much more more beautiful. Keep in mind, we have a problem on this timeline, and some people, I hesitate to even mention this because um, when anytime I ask questions about Jesus, I'll have a number of people that will unsubscribe from the newsletter
Oh,
because because
oh, okay. Yeah, so to make it clear, Jesus was this guy who lived a long time ago, and he came with a message of love and light, and
yes,
wanting us to move in the energy of love and not fear and hate.
yes.
And that was his message. Whatever anything else that may have been attached, we're not talking about that. We're talking
Yeah,
about the man.
and it was changed, um, starting with the Council of Nicaea in 325 to 327 AD, when 300 priests and bishops and cardinals of whatever of the Catholic and Roman uh, uh, Orthodox, but whatever it's called, uh, church got together and voted on what they wanted to believe or not believe.
Mm.
And that's how that all started to get changed 300 years later. So anyway, I you know, we don't need to get into that today because people have extremely
Yeah,
um,
no, but that was, I just think, wow, his experience here that is, written in history. You don't have to read the Bible to know that the history of that he was, you know what I mean? Whatever you believe. But it just makes me curious that if the energy he was bringing in was accepted in that time, so 2000 years ago, on this timeline, it on if we're on timeline 8 or 9, how different we would be in 8 and 9 if that energy shift happened 2000 years earlier. It was shut down on our timeline, right? And then manipulated, like you're saying. So it's very curious to me. Okay, I'm sorry, I
yeah,
interrupted with that big
the
question.
and one of the things that's supposed to happen, is when we get to shoot this documentary on board that Syrian mothership, is that we're going to look at all the history of the world, including all the religions history, and and I was told just recently, um, and Tour or somebody um, was that um, our idea of what Jesus looks like is going to be quite different than what he actually looked like in real
Yeah,
life. So,
I think you're correct about that too. I've heard, I mean, just I've heard, I feel that way myself, but I also feel, um, people who have had near death experiences have uh, said that they're like not anything like what we were told or what has been painted on
yeah,
earth.
he was, and again, um, I will just say this, and I was told in my meditative questions that Jesus or Yeshua
Yes,
ben
you are.
Yosef, whatever name you wish to use, um, uh, was the greatest human to ever walk the earth because his soul was 3 times the size of ours, and that allowed him to do all the miracles. And had all of our souls been that size, um, we would have been doing the similar things. But
We're working on it, Tom. We're
we're
working
working.
on it.
We're trying to raise.
We're trying. Okay, so back to the timelines. And if you guys have questions in regards when he's talking, go ahead. I'm starring questions as they come in regards to what we're discussing, and in the timelines or any of his books or MBO things. I'm starring him so we can go through the questions later. So don't hesitate to throw those in. Okay, so back to the timelines and
Okay.
understanding
Well,
those.
with the basis that great ideas and and inventions work their way down, I had never I never thought I'd been able to see that myself, except that I'm sure now that the idea, of benevolent outcomes came from the upper timelines. I just didn't put a connection there for a long, long time. So recently I was thinking, gosh, here I was told that in the past I helped in the real Star Wars that lasted for 27,000 universal years or 270,000 Earth years. And as this religious leader on the water planet Nomo, I had suggested um, that and keep in mind, they're billions of years ahead of us in technology and everything. So they know how to request souls to ensoul bodies and things like that. And so um, uh, that um, if I can explain it. They uh, that hasn't been able to happen and will not happen for thousands of years for us. Um, so I suggested that we offer the Draco reptilians that they take part in this Earth experiment too, and they could have 10% of the souls having these lives in the Earth experiment be reptilian. And the reptilians were hated so much by all of the 20,000 planets that were in this war against the reptilians that and just despised that they immediately said no, that will never work, and hell no, we won't offer that to the reptilians. And so
Thank goodness.
450 universal years go by, which is 4,500 Earth years. And finally, and we were starting to lose the war. The reptilians had more ships than did these 20,000 planets. And, and so they could not protect all the portals that were used to hop from one galaxy to the next, or one planet or one sun to the next. And slowly but surely, we were losing suns and planets. So finally, they said, "Oh, we'll offer it to them," thinking that they wouldn't do it. And they did. So they became part of the Earth experiment. So I became an advisor to the Federation because they said, "You think outside the box." And I said, "No, it's simple solutions for simple problems. No, no, no. You think outside the box." So now, when I'm having lives on Earth, all these leaders of countries and people that were originating religions wanted me as an advisor. And so that's that's how that thinking came about. I said, well, gosh, if I was advising the government today, um, what could I possibly advise them, since I'm not in politics, not in religions per se, nothing, I'm just Tom, Uncle Tom. And so that's where I got the whisper in my ear for this guns for groceries. That's how it came about.
There you go. Um,
Long explanation, I'm sorry.
which we are going to dive into the guns for groceries in a minute here. My question, however, here within this timeline you're talking now, you moved into the galactic arena. Now, if from what I understand, and I'm open, I'm open to learning and growing and whatever. I don't have try not to stay in boxes in my belief system. Like to be open and learn. Uh, that our galactic family, would they have their own timeline system?
No.
They would be the same timeline as we that you're describing.
Our whole solar system is part of this Earth experiment. Just in the last few days, and I think it may be on my newest newsletter, I asked, well, I had asked, are all the other planets in our solar system part of this frequency? So, in other words, is there a sixth timeline, Saturn and Jupiter, and a seventh timeline to Saturn and Jupiter? That type of questions. And I was told by Gaia that they're not separate like we are. It's a blending, and that's the only way she could describe it. She says this gets into quantum physics,
Okay.
and your scientists will not be able to see the difference for many, many years.
Got it. Okay. All right. Do we want?
And the rest of it, once we leave this solar system, which is all part of this Earth experiment, when we get out past like the Oort belt, you start noticing that you're going into the 10 positive energies.
Okay. And are we able to, and you said you got the most benevolent outcome probably from your soul self on timeline 8 or something, right?
7, yeah.
7. And so we can do that ourselves, is tap into our, that's
Absolutely.
aligning with our soul self, our higher self. And every time we
Yes.
do that, we're tapping into our other timelines.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, probably you could say, and I'm just making this up as we go, I request the most benevolent outcome to receive benevolent messages from the upper timelines. Thank you.
From upper timelines. Taking notes, guys. Taking notes. I hope you guys are taking notes. Got it. And so in this theory, in this what you've been told, when we're maybe channeling those higher messages, like in writing a book or doing that thing, we're connecting into those other higher timelines.
Yes, must be, because like when I was writing my very first book, I mean, I didn't think I could write one book. Um, I was told the very first time that I connected with who had turned out to be one of the soul fragments of my soul, who was having a life in the 1600s, in the Western United States as an Indian shaman. He said, "Tom, you're going to write books." And I said, "No, no, no. I'm a business guy. I'm going to do international film distribution till I retire." He said, "No, books." I mean, almost shouted in my ear. And so I said, "Okay."
And
So I
6
went
books
out and
later.
started trying to write the book, and I'd get stuck, and I'd say, "Okay, guys, I'm stuck." Start downloading some more uh, to me, and before too long, I'd be writing another 1,000 or 2,000 words, and I completed the first book in 90 or 120 days, somewhere in that area.
Holy cow. That's some great channeling. That gives us all hope, doesn't it, guys? Um, Sharon Sipe, thank you so much. Are you feeling better, Mama? Thank you for posting all that. So, yeah, so that really opens up another door. You did that for us before, Tom, when you introduced us to the most benevolent outcome intention, and now connecting us in just the knowledge that we're connecting into a higher.
Right. And
But
I think this is all part of this plan for me to show that, if I get this idea that's truly unique for this Guns for Groceries buyback program, then obviously there's a lot of other information that people can get from these upper timelines, and maybe it'll speed things up. And one of the people that are listening today, are going to come up with their unique idea for doing something.
yeah, we got this, guys. We can create. We can step into that.
Yeah, if Tom can do it, anybody can.
So if Tom can do it, we all can do it, you guys.
Right.
So I want to write a little banner here for the guns for groceries.
Yes.
And I feel like you have some information where they can connect into that. What would that be? I want to write it down for them.
Okay. So basically, let me explain the Guns for Groceries.
Okay, and then you're going to give me the info so I can put it on a banner.
Yeah. Well, actually, they can go to my website.
Oh, okay.
And click on articles and news, and the very first two newsletters have links that they can go down. They can read more, especially in the second newsletter. I went pretty heavily explaining some stuff, but also the latest newsletter. There's a click here link, and it takes you to the AVAZ, or I'm not sure how to pronounce that, AVAAZ website where my petition is. They have 69 million members worldwide, so they're a pretty strong organization. I thought I'd start with them. Um, and we're, cranking along, not fantastically well. I think we were at 870 something signings today. They haven't started supporting it. In other words, all the signees that are on there so far are through my efforts alone. Um, I, I, I have to get to a certain point when they'll say, okay, we're going to list it as one of the petitions that we promote every day. And I haven't made that. I don't know if it's at 1,000 or 1,500, but I need more people.
And we can sign that petition following those instructions on your
Sure,
website.
you just click, it goes to the petition. You read the petition. It says over on the right-hand side, sign here. You click on that button.
We have homework, family.
I appreciate it. Really, really, really.
That's something that we have power over.
So let me explain why this is a unique idea, but it's one that will have bipartisan support in Congress, and meaning that both Republicans and Democrats will vote for this. We just have to find the senators and Congress people that will co-sponsor the legislation, because again, it doesn't require anyone to do anything. It simply is voluntary, and it's been proven to work in cities that have had one-day buyback gun type events, but it's only done in locally. Like Houston, they did a one day and it had 845 guns, given back in one day. In another part of the city, 1,200 guns. And these were buybacks where they gave them a little gift card. And so there are other cities, Salt Lake City, Brooklyn, 150 guns. I mean, you could go on, all sorts of buybacks, but it's all been on the local effort. And as they point out in one of the articles I read, it takes 3 or 4 months to set up even just a one-day event, where mine would be a all-year event, and someone could walk in to a buyback place any day of the week, and turn in a gun, and they would get a debit card that would be good only to purchase groceries. So they could use it as supermarket, the Walmarts, the dollar stores, or whatever, wherever they go shopping, they would be able to use that debit card, but not to use as part of a gun purchase.
Right.
We don't want them
turn
to
it back around. Do they get an extra debit card if they turn in an AR-15?
Well, the size of the debit cards I suggested, I started off, I put two different sizes, but as I've read more about what other places have done, I would recommend $100 for a handgun, $150 for a rifle or shotgun, and $200 for a automatic rifle.
Ooh, there you go.
I don't believe in, somebody pointed out that if it's too high, people, people will go out and steal them or whatever in order to make money. This is not, for the wholesale cost of the gun. It's simply to get them off the street. And at the same time, the places that accept these guns can also give, if somebody has, let's say, 3 guns and they're turning in one of them, they can pick up at no cost to them one of these gun locks. And there are some cities that are already doing this. You could say, just stop by our police department, we'll give you a gun lock. That this will be something else that they can do. And so it's going to take guns off the streets, I believe, and also In one article I read, it also reduced the number of suicides after
Oh,
they
wow.
had
That
one of
makes
these.
sense, doesn't it?
Yeah. So there's multiple things that are good that it does. Now, what I'm recommending up to this time, um, the I think it's the Justice Department has been the one saying, "Well, here's $50 million, spread it on some local programs." Well, it's like a band-aid, and I'm saying it shouldn't be done by the Justice Department. It should be administered by the ATF because they have 5,000 people in the United States working for them, and they've got boots in the ground. They're already when they confiscate guns from drug deals or whatever, they already have a way to destroy them. So this is simply using that same method, the same way they're destroying other guns, and they just need to expand. Maybe they need to hire a few more people, maybe not too many, because there's almost some ATF agents in every city in the United States.
This is brilliant. So Tom from the other timeline, brilliant. Thank you for sharing it to Tom on this timeline. Brilliant.
I'll tell him thank you, Seven.
Thank you, Tom.
so so anyway, it it I haven't contacted. Uh, I think his name is Dillback, the director of the ATF. I was waiting until I had more
Signature.
more signees, and also just today I started looking up my senator's office, and I put in a call to have somebody call me back so I could send the proposal. I'm looking. I'm sure that there would be senators and Congress people on both sides of the aisle that would want to co-sponsor a bill where it would not require anyone to do anything. It would only be a passive, not exactly passive, but
It would be an opportunity, an option.
an option. And I believe it will take 1 million guns off the streets.
I think you're right. I really do. So here's the website, guys.
Click on the articles and news
Go to
and
articles.
just scroll down. Well, click on one of the first newsletters. Just scroll down until you see that little click me. It's in the first topic in the first two
in the first
newsletters.
newsletter. So
Okay.
we definitely have homework, and that is something that we can do to create positive change, guys. And we're always seeking for that thing to do. And here's something we can do.
Right. And I've had even one or two of the people that subscribe to my newsletter say, "Oh, it's going to take guns away from the good people," and it's not. It's if in the second newsletter that's listed on the articles and news, um, there is a picture of a box uh, in Houston. It was filled with nothing but ghost guns that were turned in on one of those drives, buyback drives. Nothing but ghost guns. Now those aren't for protection. Those are, criminals
Yeah.
use them in games or whatever. So we're doing something good by getting some of these guns off the streets.
And the thing is there's layers here, Tom, don't you think? First of
Mhm.
all, Annie signed up for your newsletter. Thank you, Annie, for doing
Thank
that. There's layers to this because when you know how this works, Tom. When you do something in the physical, it also is shifting in this in the unseen realm too, the spiritual realm. So
Mhm.
when you do something physically, it's also adjusting the energy elsewhere. So the more you do that physical thing, let's say you're cleaning out your closet and reorganizing and shifting some of that energy out to let this new peaceful energy come in that space. It's kind of the same thing,
Yeah.
different level.
And keep in mind, when you start having people co-sponsor bills and things like that, that are uh, different, different political um, leanings, you have people starting to talk to each other. Okay, and that's a good thing.
That's a
I
good
mean,
thing.
they start saying, "Oh, well, gosh, I understand how you feel about that," or yeah, maybe we can work on something else. And very honestly, um, I do have a, a next step. Okay, but if we can't get this done, there's no sense in going to the next step, because the next step is a compromise that will require people to do something, but it'll be a compromise. It will not just be forcing people to do something. And so you got to do one.
Yeah, and
You
but
got
the
to take the
fact that
first step.
we're beginning to move that energy is what's positive about this, in a positive way. Um,
So, and just keep in mind, there are your viewers out there, maybe a few, that are friends with congressmen. Maybe you can figure out a way to talk to them and say, would you be open to maybe co-sponsoring this bill with somebody on the other side of the aisle?
Now, can we get help from some of can we get help from the upper angelic forces here to work with those who are working with dark money? You have people who are bought out, right?
Yes. Well,
And so how do we fight the people who sold their soul?
sending them lots of white light. You know, I mean, selling your soul is not accurate.
Well,
It's
you know what I mean, but they sold themselves to the NRA, and
yeah,
they were bought out by the NRA. So
they're
no
bought
matter
out.
what you say or do, or how many kids are killed in the school down the street, they're
Mhm.
not changing their ways. So how do we get to them?
Well, because this is not, the NRA. A lot of people have said. I mean, I'm not an expert on the NRA, so just keep in mind I'm repeating what I've read, that uh, the NRA is controlled by gun manufacturers, and so this is not going to really affect them. It's not requiring them to stop selling guns, anything of the sort. Okay. So, and this will look good. Oh, well, we don't really think this will work, but hey, this sounds good. It'll be good press. We're for getting guns off the streets or something. Yeah. You know, they can back it and still keep selling those AR-15s out the back door or whatever.
All right. Well, and we can pray for them, right?
This is walking a path, and the path will lead farther than people think.
Let's get on the path, guys. Let's just get on the path. Um, we have Ness is asking, and timeline jump. Okay, so saying timeline jumping came up in my work too. Need to take bold action to shift stuff.
Okay, you
Awesome.
cannot keep in mind we are stuck on timeline 6. If we went to timeline 7, we'd be bumping into ourselves. All
Oh,
right. Now you can raise your vibrational level to the very top of timeline 6. Okay, you just can't go into the next timeline. So that's, some people have had a question about that. We cannot jump timelines. We're here. We're supposed to make the best of our timeline, and we're considered hardier souls than timeline, say 11, 10, 9. We have to be stronger, uh, because we have more crap to put up with.
well, we're all agreeing with you on that one.
Okay.
Sure. Oh, that was a second message to the previous one, Ness says. Okay. Oh, I missed the previous one, Ness. I'm so sorry.
My goodness.
Oh, here it is. Got it. I work in tech and innovation and help companies adapt to the future. And timelines came up organically in my work, being able to identify different timelines and weave it for clients. So they weren't talking about jumping timelines. They were just
Okay.
okay. So that makes sense, Ness. I like that. Just connecting in and I don't know. For me, it's just different language to connecting into your and aligning more with your higher self. And your higher self is on all the timelines, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So when you align and connect into your higher self, you're literally
Yeah.
connecting into the timeline.
We're fragments of a whole soul. Our souls, everyone thinks, oh, I used to think my soul was like, it's a wonderful life. The little angel that was trying to get his wings, or
Oh yeah.
the bell.
Mhm,
Okay.
mhm.
But we're typically in there are 6 to 12 fragments of our soul having multiple lives on earth. Okay. At the same time, our souls may be having 500,000 to over a million lives going on across the universe for their learning, all as part of our goal to one day in the far future. And I may have mentioned this on previously with you,
Mhm.
uh, of melding together and taking over running this universe and allowing our creator to go to the 32nd dimension, where there's only a very, very few creators that have made that jump out of the trillions. And and so we will meld together and we will start running this universe. But I'm told it's going to be several million years before that actually happens.
Clarence is the name of the angel there. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. I,
Okay.
my company used to license that film because at one time it was in the public domain, but then Republic Pictures, I think it was, bought the book rights, and based on having the book rights, they forced every single television station, cable station, and all the DVD companies to stop selling It's a Wonderful Life. So that's why you only see it once a year.
Oh, wow. Okay. Um,
One of those little
yeah,
hooks.
a little.
Okay, now, I've got some things that I was told about timelines if you'd like me to.
Yes, and then we can dive into a couple of these questions as
Okay,
well. And
sure.
post your questions. It can be about MBOs or anything, most benevolent outcome questions, or anything that we've talked about today. I'm going to star them, and at the end here, we're going to go through some of those questions.
Okay.
Okay.
Theo, I know Theo's my guardian angel for people that are unfamiliar. I know we have, these are questions I ask in my meditative sessions where I'll come up with a whole list. I'm working on a new list right now for,
There you go.
for Saturday. And
Mhm.
it's not full yet, so I have a little ways to go. Um, we have different departure times on 12 timelines, but aren't we all born at the same minute on each timeline? Yes, you are, Tom, just at different frequencies, as we discussed at length in the past. How much bleed through with timelines 7 and 5? It is more during your dream times as you and they visit and see how each is handling the life lessons you choose or chose to work on this time around. We encourage everyone to write down their dreams each morning, and you will see how you visit each other, not only on these two timelines, but on the others as well. Sending light and love to the other timelines each day does help them to raise their vibrational levels as well as it helps you. when else is the bleed through? It comes from your guides who are constantly working to steer you along your soul path, just as they do on your other timelines. It is part of their job to introduce you to ideas that have already been implemented on the other timelines.
Okay. Wow. So he just read from what uh, from
That was in that second newsletter um, uh, down the way. So in other words, it was the April 1st newsletter where when I asked those questions.
So when you go on his website, guys, you check out his. You go to the newsletter spot and catch up. You'll learn. I mean, there's just so many questions that have been answered, and uh, he gives it to us freely. These answers, so we are informed.
Yep.
And
it's my gift to the world. I have never charged for this newsletter since I started them in 2007.
wow.
So feel free to sign up. I don't share the email addresses with anybody.
And you what was I just lost my question.
That happens
all the time, to me anyway. Shoot, something. It was in regards to. Oh, it'll come to me. All right. All right. Any tips to raise a vibration?
Well, one of the things I do, of course, each day is I ask any and all beings to aid, comfort, and assist anyone that I've ever harmed, either physically, mentally, morally, spiritually, or emotionally, in any past, present, or future life. And I ask that any and all beings come to the aid and comfort of the families and friends of anyone that I've ever harmed in any way, in any past, present, or future life. On my website, you can go to signs and you can print out that little sign, hang it on the mirror in your bathroom or wherever. You won't need to have it up there too long because after you say it a few times, you'll have it memorized and you'll go bangity bang bang through it each morning. and I also at the same time I send white light and love to every single continent, every single island, all the rivers, lakes, and streams, all the oceans and seas of the world. And I release this white light to go where it's needed the most, to light up the darkest corners of the planet. So there's no more darkness, only light, and no more secrets. And probably now I need to add in, since I just asked these questions, and send white light and love to all the other timelines too. So.
And I think it was that I wanted to talk about, but all right, beautiful. And I'm going to pull that up really quick, but before I get to it, let's look at this next question coming in here. Mountain Dancer, what are the 4 negative energies? You spoke to them before that they were.
We don't know.
The experiment. Oh,
I just had someone in the last 2 or 3 newsletters ask if one of the negative energies was separation, and the answer I got was no. They are all together. They're not separate from each other. They are together, but no one has figured out what those 4 energies are. And I'm told our scientists are not even, they have no clue they exist, so they're not even looking for them. And it's going to be a number of years before they figure it out. We have a lot to learn. We are in I was just in my latest newsletter. You can read what I got about artificial intelligence. People are worried about artificial intelligence, and I'm told that's going to be one of the greatest breakthroughs. That's what Gaia says, going to be one of the greatest breakthroughs of the 21st century. And that's one of the reasons why I've been told previously that at the end of this century, at the start of the next century, they will look back at this time period as being very basic. The way we look back at 1917, 18, 20, that area, uh, it'll look that basic to them.
Wow. TheGentleWayBook.com. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to get to the internet wrong. Okay.
The
So
Gentle Way Book.
yeah, I kept forgetting the book. I'm like, why is it doing this to me? Let's go here. And Francie is asking, is there a certain vibration attached to these specific words? Most benevolent outcome.
Well, there must be, because what you're doing is you're opening it to the universe and saying, whatever the best benevolent outcome is. It might be that if you don't get that request, maybe it's because something better is on the way. If you say, "Oh, I request the most benevolent outcome that this person will be my mate," and it doesn't happen, well, it's because they weren't meant to be your mate, and you're supposed to find somebody else, and you will.
And I think this is wonderful. This is a wonderful spot here, Tom, to talk about when you say the most benevolent outcome, you're opening up to not your boxed thinking of what you think is the greatest outcome, because we're boxed in here.
Yes.
And so we're opening up to the universe's highest, best, good outcome for whatever the situation is, or whatever your the energy you're stepping into, whether it's a mate or a situation, or writing the book, or doing this or doing that. You're offering it out of your boxed thinking. And so when we get frustrated and, oh, they're not answering my prayer, well, that is the answer, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It is. You're opening up and saying, if it's on my soul contract, within the path of my soul contract, then you'll get it. But if it's outside, you won't. And I've given the example. Oh, okay. I've given the example before of me trying to raise money for a series of spy movies. And I was all over the place trying to raise money. St. Petersburg, Russia, and Budapest, and Prague, and Paris, and the American film market, and Cannes. And anytime that I would get close to raising the money, something really weird would happen and it would fall through. And finally, I asked Theo, I said, I've been requesting benevolent outcomes all along, and everything keeps falling through. Why is that? And I was told, Tom, you're going to reach a lot more people with your books and talks and everything than you ever would had you gone down the path of producing those movies. So
wow.
it wasn't on my soul contract.
And acknowledging that, and being able to have this conversation with Theo, and then stepping into that energy of, it must have not been as disappointing as it could have been if you didn't acknowledge that there was a better outcome for you.
Right. So you have to take it.
Yeah.
And you can even say, I request the most benevolent outcome to keep on my soul contract, and you will.
Ooh.
And sometimes, if you kind of strayed off a little bit, maybe you'll have some challenges, but it'll bring you back to your path.
Okay, so here you see, I don't know if you can see, it might be too small on your screen. However, you can click here for signing up for the newsletter.
Yep. That little blue box off to the right side.
And here as well. And now if I go into, where do I go into to find the guns for groceries?
Go back up to the menu, or yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and where it says articles and news on the menu.
Articles and news right here, you guys. Here's the link for articles and news. You click in there.
Okay, and you'll see those first two newsletters both have links.
Okay, but first I want to show everybody. Look, you have a lot of reading to catch up on. It's going and going and going.
It goes.
And look at these specific articles too, you guys. All right,
Yeah,
so
some of them I probably need to get rid of. They're kind of aging a little bit, but
aging a bit.
yeah.
So here we go to the latest newsletter.
One. So scroll on down.
And look at, there we are.
There you are.
And we're scrolling down. And here we go. Guns for Groceries petition update.
And you see where it says,
and you click
here, right there.
You're going to click there, and it's going to open up here. And I'm just going to go ahead and put my name in. My last name.
I'm sorry, somebody's trying to.
And I'm signing the petition. No, I'm not a robot. I'm showing you all how to do this, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
And it is submitted. There you go. It's as easy as that, guys. As easy as that. And where's my, oh, there it is. I'm confused.
You can go exit out. There we go.
Mm-hmm. There we go.
So you see, we got a ways to go. We're not up to 1,000 yet.
Let's get it. Let's get
maybe
to
with
it, guys.
all your help, we'll go past 1,000.
Annie did it too. Good job. All right, so we're going to go back. We'll do a couple more questions here.
Okay.
And then we will close out. Got that one. Oh, Wendy wants to know how we can, in talking about dreams and writing those dreams down, have you been given any tips on how to remember dreams?
One, you can, before you go to sleep at night, you can say, I request the most benevolent outcome to remember my dreams tonight and tomorrow morning.
There you go.
Okay. Number two is to have a notebook. You can just buy one at CVS or a grocery store or wherever you shop, and set it up next to your nightstand. Have a little pin light, just the smallest one that you possibly can have, because it's dark and you don't want to wake up your partner. And so if you awaken in the middle of the night, you can go take the notebook with you. Oh, another thing I do is, before I go to sleep, I'll put down the next morning's date and the city that I'm in. So all these are physical things to say to yourself.
Set it up. Yeah.
To remember your dreams.
And you've made that intention known, and you're stepping into that. And the more you do it, the more it'll become more and more natural.
Right. And let me show you one other thing. Now, let's see.
Oh, the Dreamer's Dictionary.
Dreamer's Dictionary. This one is really old. I keep it in my office. I have another one next to my bed. And the Dreamer's Dictionary was channeled by Lady Stern Robinson, I believe, and co-written by Tom Corbett, I believe. And so I found that a lot of the, of course, you can also do this on a computer these days, but not in the middle of the night I don't like. So I'll have that book, and if it's something really, uh, uh, you'll find dream symbols over a period of time. You'll be able to recognize certain symbols: north, south, east, west. Um, driving, flying, whatever. And dreams uh, partner you. You start looking at other timelines to see what they're doing,
Mm.
upper and lower, and even past lives. And also, when you first go to sleep, typically you're taken to another part of the universe, and you help solve problems for other societies where but we're known as the big problem solvers of the universe. And if you were to even remember these dreams, they would convert the dreams to make it look like humans because they would not want to scare you with some of the types of beings there are in the universe. So, but we solve problems for them in their dream time or in their meditation or even when they're wide awake, depending on who they are and where they are.
Also with the dreams, I wanted to say, if you aren't someone who's going to write it down, have your phone there and talk it into you have a voice recording. You can keep it and you're not wanting to wake up very well. I wear, this is me at night with a mask on. I'll lift it up just enough so I can see my phone and turn on that voice recorder and get that thought down. And then I can go back to sleep
Oh,
or
good
the
idea.
dream. Yeah. So that helps as well. If you're
Much
not,
much more modern than the old guy here.
yeah, well, the old way is like it kind of wakes you up and then you're kind of stuck in that awake state for
Yeah.
too long. And
Well,
I'm not.
I actually have
Thank you, Suzanne.
a ballpoint pen that when you click on it, it has this blue light,
A
which
little
I find
light,
is much less than
right?
my
Then
wife's little flashlight she has. So I like it.
that's perfect. Now you can the Dreamer's Dictionary. I just looked it up and it is on Amazon. If anybody would like to grab
Oh,
that as well.
okay.
Um, so, anyways,
Oh, and by the way, uh, they will, if you're using that book, I've been told that they'll fix the dream so that if they want you to see a particular dream symbol, it will be from the book. So they kind of adjust
oh,
your dream
they actually use the dictionary to bring across the messages. That's great.
messages. Yes.
It's a shared experience.
Yep. Well,
Um,
as I said, I've been recording my dreams since 1979 when my wife and I were supposed to go to a World Congress of Travel Agents in Manila, and I had a very vivid dream of an explosion with a woman and men involved. So we canceled Manila, added days onto Taiwan and Hong Kong, and sure enough, on the first day of the World Congress, terrorists blew a bomb up in the front of the hall, which is where I like to sit. And after that, I said, I'm recording my dreams the rest of my life.
100%. Um, okay. Rose Blue wants to know where she can get that little pin with the blue light. You probably could look it up on Amazon. Pin with
Yeah,
blue light
my
pin.
my wife bought them. They come in sets of three, so
Okay.
you'll use them for a long time. You
Yeah.
know how Amazon makes you buy things
Yeah. They
more than one.
blue light pin. Just type that in. I bet you'll find it. And we're one last question here. And Ness is asking your thoughts about the power of speaking truth and healing. People are speaking their truths in new, different ways in recent years. A lot of healing is occurring and pushback is occurring too. So when absolutely shift in energy with that. When anything that comes out of your mouth is energy. Anything that you think or speak is energy. And when you start speaking truth, that is a more of a positive, enlightened energy that's being pushed out. So the more that you do that, the more
And you could say, I request a most benevolent outcome for the results of me speaking my truth to have results better than I can hope for or expect.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And
That's beautiful. And Ness, thank you for asking that question because it just helps us all to be mindful of what we are speaking and thinking. So obviously thoughts are going to come in. We're living this human experience, but
yeah,
how are we going to, are we going to hold on to that thought or are we going to release it and then fill it with, a more positive thought or speak, anyways, it's all energy and we're pushing it out. Tom, thank you so much for spending time with us today.
sure.
The family here,
Greatly appreciate
they love
you
you
having
and
me, and please, everybody, sign the petition. I would
we had
greatly
a,
appreciate your
we had
assistance.
a lot of people signing. I saw everybody saying, I signed it. I signed it.
Good, good.
Yeah, the family loves you and certainly um, we just want to support you too in continuing to share um, the most benevolent outcome intentions. You're changing the world, Tom.
Well, we are all changing it
We are all changing it. We're all
together.
collectively changing it, but you've brought us onto the bus and we like it.
Okay.
So thank you again for being with us and family. We'll see you all again soon. I'm on Sunday. Oh no, today's Thursday. I'm so confused. What day are we? I'm on tomorrow night with Lisa on Newsflash Friday, and it looks like we're going to have some news to talk about. So it looks like they suspended that guy, one of the people in Tennessee. So unfortunate. Anyways, blessings to you all. And so we'll see you all next time. Until then, we pray the most benevolent outcome for your highest and greatest good in whatever situation. All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.